Well, welcome, Power Agents. Another interview with one of my, this is a really special interview, Annette Mina. So I'll tell you why she's so special to me personally. But before I do, let me introduce you to her. Hello, Annette.
Hello, Daryl. Nice to see you again.
Great to see you. Now, for people who want to reach out to you, refer to you, ask you questions, whatever. So how is the best way for people to get in touch with you?
They can email me at annette.mina@element.com. They can call my cell phone, text me. I'm a big texter, 631-831-0163.
And just also to give people a little bit more background, you were saying before we officially started recording, you've been in the business now for over 40 years, yeah?
Yes, over 40 years. I started when I was 18 years old.
Darn. Okay.
And I'm 61.
And again, she looks beautiful for 61.
Thank you.
Now,
any single men out there?
All right. So this is going to turn into a very fun interview where look, she's still prospecting. It don't matter. She prospects for everything anytime.
She's got to be the right one, though.
She's got standards, guys. She's got standards. All right. So, but I don't know what the heck to say after that now, Annette.
I'm quick-witted. Always have been, Daryl.
Okay. So now just so people can appreciate the value that you're going to drop your production level this past year. Where are you at in Element? Everybody knows Element, huge company. So where are you at in your production level?
So one of my things that I do is that I don't count, because if I count, then makes you a little bit crazy. So every day my moral is I wake up with a zero. So I don't know really what's in production. It keeps me driven. It keeps me excited. I don't look at my checks. I just keep going. And at the end of the year, the tallies come in, and I never find out till the awards what my numbers are. So the awards will be in March. So I don't really know where I fall. I don't think I had a year. Last year was my best year in real estate in all of my entire career. So, and that was during COVID.
So what was your award then last March? Where did you sit?
I'm the number one agent in all of Douglas Elliman for a number of transactions, 4 consecutive years in a row.
Come on.
Out of I don't know how many thousands of agents.
Thousands.
And then GCI, I have landed at number 2 because number 1, her listings are, $10 million. And I'm just like, first time home buyer, $350,000 to $450,000 price point. So I don't ever know if I'll ever get GCI number 1, because I'm competing against people that, their one commission check is $100,000. Where well,
this is New York. We can always find somebody that an accident. Just knock them off.
Yeah, but I'm more in transactions. I'm a heavy hitter in transactions.
Well, that's absolutely incredible. And of course you didn't start off that way 40 some odd years ago. We're going to get to that. But before we do, I do want to get, if nothing else for prosperity purpose, whatever that term is, I want to record this story about why you're so special to me. For some of you don't know the story, some of you do, because I've talked about it. I talk about you behind your back in that, because it's in a good way, because the first class that I ever taught that started my whole career was the power program in 1993. I had 38 people in that class, and every single one of those people were very special to me because they took a risk on me. I had an idea of a concept, and they were the guinea pig class, and you were one of those people. And I want to show you what hangs on my wall. I don't think I've ever shown this. I took it down my wall just to show you.
Look at the class.
This is the class holding our original manual, and look.
Oh my God! Look at me with that vest and that shirt. Oh my God! And that hairdo.
and right there, do you remember you got when you graduated? We gave you medals.
Yeah.
It was a medal, and
yeah.
So Anyway, so that's why you're so special to me. And the reason, the story that I tell about you, I don't know if you remember this, but when we first, the original power program, as you know, this for telling everybody else, was once a month for 12 months for a whole year. And so the first class was the attitude session, and you came up to me at the end of the class and you said, Daryl, you know, I don't think this class is for me. And then again, I don't know if you remember, so the second class, same thing. You came back a little stronger. Say, you know what, Daryl, I know this is not for me. This is not. And our policy was you had to complete the whole year. You didn't get your money back. Right. So I told you, listen, that's fine, but if you drop out, you didn't get your money back. You came back to month 3. You said, Daryl, you know what? I know I don't like this class, and I don't like you. And it just got every month. You got more angry with me because you wanted the money back. And it was around month 6 that you came to me and you said to me, you know what, Daryl? This was the best class I ever took. This is so exciting. And I think that year you graduated, you were the top agent in the whole state of New York for, at the time, it was Prudential Douglas Elliman, it was Prudential Long Island Realty, I think. So anyway, this is why you're special to me, because you made me a better trainer. You made me a better trainer because you're a great agent. And you challenged me and you let me know what worked and what didn't work for you. And but I got to tell you, that says something more about you, because even through all of that, you stayed committed. You didn't quit. You kept trying to give it a shot. Anyway, I just love you to death, Annette.
Oh,
so,
I love you too.
I seriously.
And the course came to me. I don't know if you remember, and now that I'm sitting here getting melancholy over it, in January of that year, I lost my sister. And I couldn't sell real estate. You know, she was killed by a drunk driver, and I was so bad, and I wasn't doing well. And your course was a reason for me to get up in the morning. So probably the first couple of months were a lot of the grief that you were hearing and the frustration and all that. But then as I went through the course and I started getting committed back into what I love to do, that's when the stars and everything aligned for me 6 months after that. But yeah, you kept just telling me to come back, and I just kept going back. It was quite the fight.
It was quite the fight.
And then I had to win, because every month I had other people. I'm like, you think you're going to get more listings than me? I don't think so. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get more listings than all of you.
It was a great experience. All right, now let's talk about where you were at in your business when you, in that first year of real estate, because some people watching this would aspire to be you. You know that people look up to you.
They do.
And there's agents that are starting and they're saying, boy, how can I be like Annette? What was it like for you that first year in real estate?
Oh, it was so hard, because the hardest part was working for your father. And my father was an icon in real estate. His name was plastered everywhere. So I had a lot to live up to. And then I was his daughter. So he had a slew of agents, and I always had to be the best. So my competitive nature, you know, he really did hard knocks with me. You know, you're going to be better than all these people. You're going to come into work on time, early. You're going to be dressed well. You're going to knock on doors. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And I was like, yeah, Dad, yeah, Dad, yeah, Dad. And it was hard. It was hard because I wasn't seeing any money, you know, for a long time. A lot of rejections. He would make me go knock on doors, and I did gentle knocks. Like I would just walk up to people who were outside, and I would say, your house is beautiful, you know, introduce myself, hand out cards. I was working part-time in the city, and I would actually, while people were sleeping on the train, I would drop my card on everyone's lap on all the cars. It would take me all the way to Penn Station. I would all the way to Penn Station, and I would start in one car, and if they were asleep, I would just put cards on everyone's lap. But I wouldn't just do it once. I would do it like once a week as I was commuting into the city.
Okay.
So I was just trying to prospect even back then, you know, in my first year, because I wanted to transition out of not working in the city and making real estate a full-time career for me.
Okay. And so what was that first level for you, like first breakthrough level financially? So we're going back many years now, but what was that?
I was testing my brain and I'm 61. Back then, I think it was the commuting into the city and knowing that I couldn't give up that job. And then I had a goal that I needed $10,000 in commissions sitting in my kitty for me to quit the job in the city. Okay. So I just became committed. I got off the train and I would work from 6 o'clock at night and run buyers till 9 o'clock at night, get up in the morning, get on the 6 o'clock train, come home, do it again, and then work every Saturday and Sunday. I was completely focused because I did not want to commute into New York City anymore. But I wanted to make money. Mm-hmm. So I was driven. I've always been goal oriented. Like I needed a certain amount of money for me to quit. Then once I started making money, then I had a picture of a house, a vision board. I put it on my thing, and that's what I want. I said, my next thing is I want a house that looks like that. And then I would just work towards that goal. Or there was a car I wanted, I would work towards that goal. And then as I got older, it was kids' college. It was, I always had a reason why I had to make the money. There was always a reason.
That's important that people, watching this get that it's the commitment that the commitment is what drives the activities. Yeah. Correct. Right. So Correct. If you don't have that commitment, and you have to be passionate about it, right? It's not just a want. It has to be something that it almost does you. It drives you. It speaks to you. It's your why, as some people Correct. Will say. Okay. Correct. All right. Very good. So the next level for you, what would you say helped you to get to that first level? What was the thing that you did, whether it was listings, whether it was some buyers or some sales? Is there some kind of something that you can say, you know what, I can point to this strategy is what helped me break through to my next level in that beginning years?
I think every lead I got, I took as an opportunity. I just grabbed onto every lead. I almost suffocated them. It was like I would grab it. I was like, you're not going to go to another realtor because I've got you now and I'm going to sell you a house. And it was just commitment. And I think it was service. Like now I'm 61 and I could tell you it definitely was service. But back when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, I didn't even realize I was serving the public. I was just grabbed the opportunity. And I wanted to make my dad proud, and I wanted to make me proud. And I was very competitive because he was competitive. Mm-hmm. So I was competing against myself because I wanted to have so many transactions or, always selling. And I loved the feeling I got when I sold. So I think that was it for me. It was every lead I used, I smashed it until there was nothing to smash. In other words, if it didn't turn out to be a good lead, whatever, my dad was so funny. One day I was frustrated and he came over to my desk and he put a big piece of paper on my desk in black magic marker and he wrote the word next. He goes, "Are you done?" He goes, "You've been ruminating over this bad deal for 4 days. You haven't took a listing. You haven't taken a buyer out." He goes, "The word is next." He goes, "It's next." And I was like, "Is that simple?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, I could do that." And then it freed me. It was like a personal freedom. It was like, so then when I would lose a deal, I wouldn't ruminate for months and weeks or whatever. You know how people lose deals, we work so hard, we show them 50 houses, then they go buy a house from somebody else. I would take that personally and I would be sad and it would eat me up. And then I would lose my fire, my excitement to want to work. So when he put that on my desk, I faced it every day, the word next. So when I was on the phone and it didn't work out, I would look at the paper, I would go, and I still have that piece of paper somewhere. It's probably on my bulletin board here somewhere.
Really? Okay, awesome.
So I would say that was a big, big thing for me.
That's a huge nugget that, for people right now, because Annette, there's agents that they get paralyzed by something, whether the deal falling through, the FSBO hanging up, or not getting the listing, or losing it to somebody else, or even worse, a relative list with somebody else.
Oh yeah, those hurt.
Those are hard. Yeah. Does that happen to you?
I had a couple of family ones, but then I used to say, I have to break bread with them at Easter, Christmas, or whatever. do I really want to get into their personal finances? Or I would actually use it as a tool for people who are thinking of listing with a relative. It's like, you really don't want to do that. You got to eat bread with these people, on Christmas, and you don't want to have that stigma at the table. You might as well just give me the listing, let me handle it for you, and just tell them you hired someone that you didn't want the love to be broken in the family or something like that.
Awesome.
And I got a lot of listings that way, but not a lot of family, no. And
Yeah.
then when it's family, they drive you crazy. It's just,
Well, that's just it, right? I mean, like you just said it perfectly. Is that you don't want to cost the relationship because of the business side of it. If it does, it's hard to fire a family. It's
Yeah.
easy to hire them, but it's hard to get rid of them
yeah.
if things don't go the way you want, and you can hurt them. So that's a good.
Yeah, I just got a listing from one of my old clients. He just called me actually this morning, and I did the comps for him. I sold him the house. He bought a new house. He's negotiating the new house with the sister-in-law, who's only been licensed 6 months. He goes, Annette, I had to go with her. We found the house. She doesn't know how to negotiate like you. Will you call the other agent? Will you talk to the other agent for me? Because when we sell this house, we're not giving it to her. We already told her we're giving you the listing. Because he goes, I need you. You're aggressive. You're going to get it sold for me. I have no contingencies. And I did, I did that extra thing for him. I called the other broker, listed, he's going to hire me. My reputation. I'm going to get it sold, give him the deal. And it all worked out. But he actually told his family that, no, you're not getting the listing on the house. You'll get the sale on my purchase, but not the listing. So.
All right, now I want to ask you a question. It's not in the questions that I sent you in advance. So it's a little pop thing here.
Yeah, great, Daryl. Great. I had all my answers here.
I'll do this one last off the cuff question, and then we'll go to the
off the cuff. So go ahead.
All right. So, was there, I'm sure there a time when you had a challenge, could have been even a personal challenge, like how did you get through that with your business? Could be a personal, could be a business challenge, but it was a really tough time.
I had a lot of tough challenges, life, everyone thinks, oh, Annette, Mina, you do well, you sell all these houses, but what they don't see is, the personal stuff that goes on behind the scenes. My husband died from the effects of 9/11. I had 3 children that I had to take care of, and that was probably one of the hardest things that I ever had to go through. And when he died and the children, it was hard. How would I keep my business running? It was hard but I still got up every morning, and I still had to do, because I had to serve my people. I still grieved, but I still had to take it on. I had people that helped me, that stepped in for me. There was one time another time I was on Kismet vacationing with my kids, and, a fellow colleague of mine, Mano Campatello, was yelling at me because I was on my phone doing a deal. And she goes, give me that phone. And I go, you can't have my phone. And she said, give me that phone. I'm done with you working. And I ran away from her, and I ran into a hole, and I broke my hip on the beach. And because a kid dug a hole 3 feet deep, and my right leg went in and snapped my left hip. I was in a wheelchair for 8 months, no surgeries. And needless to say, Minot did all of my running for all the buyers that I had, and I made all the commissions, thank God. And she did my food shopping, but it was really, 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 really hard. I was taking listings in the hospital. I had actually a couple come to me, and I said, don't worry, my hip's going to be fine in a couple of days. Just sign the papers here. I'll get this listed for you. And, so I did take listings while I was in a wheelchair, and then I was in a cane, so I've definitely had some hard times, ended a relationship that broke me. So, we all have things, it's not all lollipops and sunshine. We have tragedies that happen, and when you don't have that guaranteed paycheck coming in, if you don't work, you don't make money, right? So you can't really go in the bed and pull the covers over your head for 2-3 months, because then when you're trying to pay your bills 3 months after that, you don't have any money to pay it. So I think it was more of this innate thing inside of me to serve, to always, a client needed me. I said, okay, And that's just how it's been for 40 years. It's
Mm.
always been all right, I'll make, I can do it. I'll cry later. I'll just go, and many times I've been in grief or whatever. And I just pick myself up, dry myself off, go take the listing, serve my client, make them feel safe, make them feel happy, leave there, get in my car, cry again, and it just keeps, you have to learn to separate both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Don't harm yourself by not taking care of yourself.
There's two powerful things you just said that I want to highlight for people, and that is, how you get through those challenging times is that you have to have that commitment to serving and helping other people, or take the focus off of you and put it on that, whatever it is outside, a client or whatever. And that helps you get out of your head and out of the emotional state. But you still grieve, but you're not paralyzed by it.
Correct.
And the other thing you said too, Annette, which is so awesome, is that one of our other power agents had said this, and it's become like a mantra for a lot of us, is that who agents are, power agents, or people like you, who they are is committed to making a difference in the world, and they just chose real estate as the tool to do it. So it's about the difference and helping others and contributing to them. And so that comes through with you for sure. All right, this is Graham. This is great stuff. Let's go to the list of questions that we sent to you.
All right, Errol.
So I'll let you pick it up, because instead of me go, I want you to share your favorite ones of what we sent.
Oh no, listen, I answered all of them, so you're the interviewer.
Oh my God. Okay.
Don't even start with me.
All right. Okay. So then let's go with this one.
I reviewed them. I was like, okay, I can answer that. I can answer this one. It's fine.
Now, just I want everybody to see. Here's a mega producing agent over here, and she takes the time. All right, I got these questions, Daryl. I gotta do my homework and get ready for this interview. That's beautiful.
I'm serving you.
And you are, and so many people watching this. This is awesome. All right, so what are the two biggest priorities you have each day, or week? That's under the time management one over there. My question numbers are changed,
so 2 priorities every week is my calendar. Every day is, you got to look at the calendar. I have to see where I'm going, what I'm going to do. I'm probably, one of my biggest successes is time management, that I'm able to figure out, like everyone, they nickname me the triplets in the company. They're like, you're not one person, you're triplets. And I'm not a team. So everyone's like, how do you do all these transactions by yourself? It's time management. And I excelled at that. So I would say calendar every day, follow up every day. My calendar dictates what I do every single day, and it's a full day. It's busy. If I'm
let me interrupt you. I want to grab this for a second. So you don't have, you're not a team. You don't have a bunch of agents working under you.
No.
Okay, I know that. I just want people to hear that.
No.
And now what
I have one assistant who's my transaction coordinator, marketing person. I don't load listings and do upload photos. I don't do any of that stuff. I just list and sell real estate. She does everything else.
So you've got your one right hand, left hand person.
Right hand.
What?
Right hand.
She's right hand. She's right hand. So you go out there, you're belly to belly, face to face, buyers and sellers. You're building relationships, making deals happen. Bada bing, you bring it, and she takes it from there. Beautiful. Okay. When you say calendar, do you use a digital or paper?
So funny that you say that. So I was old school for a long time, and my dad taught me how to do, because he would do it even when he was 72 years old. Every morning he had a to-do list, cup of coffee, 1 through 20. And he taught me that. So I would always have a to-do list every morning. And then whatever I didn't finish on the list got carried over to the next day. And that made the top priority list. And then I did all the rest of the other list. And then my whole goal was always to finish my list for in that day, and whatever didn't get done, make sure it get carried over to the next day. So he did that on paper. I did that on paper for years. And then about 15 years ago, I started doing my to-do list on the computer for my assistant.
Okay.
Every day, and I couldn't go to sleep until the to-do list was done.
Okay.
Load this, call that, prospect that, mailings go here, whatever. And now everything isn't on my phone. I do everything on my phone now.
Awesome. Is there a software or an app that you use?
No, I just, I do everything in my notes and then I send everything to my transaction coordinator, slash assistant. We have a very good rhythm and she's been with me now probably 4 years, but I've had an assistant for probably over 20 years. I've never been without one.
Wow.
Can't, can't, can't wear too many hats.
What financial, before I ask that, I just want people to get that. So, you keep it simple. I mean, you're a mega producing agent and you're basically using your phone and the note section for your to-dos. I mean, it's not any complicated thing like you got to have a CRM that connects to this Google Calendar, which then sends triple emails. So I want people to get that. Okay. Because it's called human being, not human doing, right? So you're skilled at being with people, period. Building relationships. All right. Now, at what point financially did you make that decision? Where were you at 20 years ago?
Oh God.
Because some people are going to be like, because I get that question a lot. How do I know? Should I get an assistant? And what would you say to that person?
You get an assistant when you can't breathe anymore.
Okay.
I mean, that's the answer. I was at a point, I was raising children. I was a class mom. I was driving kids to soccer. I was loading listings till 2:00 in the morning. I was like, I was going to have a nervous breakdown. I didn't want to have that quality of life. So I put it in the budget to hire an assistant. I did. I think back then it was like making like $10 an hour.
Right.
When it started. And I brought them in part-time and we always had a contract. And, I could honestly say and it's been more than 20 years. It definitely has been. I'm going to say probably I've had an assistant for probably 25 years. And I've probably only been through 5 because if you're good to your people, they don't leave,
Mm-hmm.
They've always left for, a full-time gig with benefits and whatever that I can't give them. But for the most part, it was a small amount of money and it was worth it to me because the minute I freed that money up, it gave me more time to be in front of more people.
Right.
To run more buyers and to get more listings.
Right.
Because the paperwork nonsense, I wasn't, I see realtors all the time now. They spend hours, on their paperwork. And I roll my eyes because I can't even. Don't ask me to upload a photo because I don't know how to do it. Ask me to load into the new one key, not happening for me, not doing it. I'd rather pay somebody to do that and have it all done right. I mean, I oversee the contracts and I do all that.
Sure.
But I'm not doing that. And it just having an assistant frees you up to make more money because now I have an obligation to pay somebody else. Now you have another salary, work harder, do more listings so that your salary is not being affected and that's what I see a lot in teams, team leaders, have a lot of teams. By the time they pay out everybody and they're micromanaging 1,200 people, how much is their net at the end of the day?
Right.
My net's pretty damn good because I don't have all of that, but it was just a time management thing. And the assistant is key.
Now, and what you said is, well, everything you're saying is beautiful and awesome. But what just jumped out at me was you hire that assistant when you can't handle and do all the work, meaning you've got so much business, you can't get to the next level without that support structure. Some people want to hire an assistant to do the things that they just don't like to do. And that's not when you.
No. You hire an assistant because you want to free your time to make more money, not because you're lazy and you don't want to do the paperwork.
Right.
Because then you're going to build a resentment, down the road when it's 3 months later and you're paying out this assistant, but you didn't make more money than you did before the assistant. You're going to get mad and you're going to have resentments and then you're going to get angry at your assistant because you're not making the money. No, that doesn't work that way. You have to have one so that it drives you to make more money.
This is just a business formula. Whenever you commit to an expense, whether it's an assistant or something, that expense has to pay for itself.
Has to.
So your net doesn't change.
So my net doesn't change. And if anything, having an assistant, I have to make more money.
That's
I
right.
have to see the rewards of having that person in my life. And I do year after year after year. And you have to be good to your assistant. You have to be good to them.
Because to retain a good person is less costly if you treat them the right way and pay them the right way than if you got to keep hiring somebody to replace the one you just lost.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to just be good to them, and in turn they're good to you and they want to perform.
Let's go to the prospecting section. I got one of the questions is what are the number 11 there? What is the two main sources of listing leads that I'm going to ask it this way. There's the two main sources of listing leads you get now, and then there was the ones that you got like 35 plus years ago. So let's do it now. What are your biggest leads?
Oh, it's all referral.
All referral.
It's all referral. Promotion, I'm branded. I am very active in my local area. People, my face is on the Hometown Shopper every 2 weeks. And it's always innovative. It's always an innovative ad. I get people snapping pictures of it and texting it to me. Love your ad, so I have a branding that I do. It's worked very well for me. So I'm in constant, my dad taught me that, God rest his soul. He would be on a penny saver every week. It didn't matter every week. He goes, it's consistent. It's like, they may not see it the first 6 months in it, but you know what? When they think real estate, because they saw it for 6 months, they go, oh, there's that realtor. She does a lot of business. She's always in the paper. Blah, blah, blah. So I kind of took that model and I ran with that. So I've been consistent with that. I've actually, during COVID, stepped it up. When people were stepping down from it, I doubled it. I thought it was a good move, and it was.
So what was the marketing? Let's talk about that for a second. The self-promotion stuff that you put out there. What are some of the vehicles that you use?
So my transaction coordinator or whatever has a 4-year degree in marketing, so that helps.
Wow.
So I think of, and that's important, she sets up my social media. Like, I give her the idea and then she runs with it. I tell her what I want the public to see. Like, I have an idea and she goes, okay, I could do that. And then sometimes I go, I'm out of ideas. You think of something, and she'll come, like she just came up with a Christmas one that blew me away. And it's coming out, I think, next Wednesday, right before the holidays or whatever. Okay. So, it's being innovative and easy on the eyes. My branding is very easy. I post a lot of my reviews from clients on my Hometown Shopper and I've got so many listings from that, because when you have clients, telling people blah, 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 Annette did this, that, she was an incredible negotiator, people read that. You always.
What is the hometown? For people that don't know, the hometown.
It's like, every town has a paper, like a penny saver, or it's almost like junk mail that comes in.
It's a print paper.
It's a print paper. Yeah. Where everyone says, no, you got to go digital. Blah, blah. Yeah, you could go digital, but at the end of the day, everyone goes to the mailbox. Everybody goes to the mailbox. So every Thursday they see my face. That's it.
Listen, let me tell you something, Annette. We've been telling the power agents lately, I've never been a fan all my years. I mean, we've taught about mailings and stuff, but my love is calling FSBOs and expireds and da da da. Yeah. But I'll tell you what I'm telling the students now, to echo what you just said. In this day and age of technology and social media, it's so noisy and so competitive there that the mailbox is like, it's empty. It's like that's where agents should really start going back to what's old is new again, right? So this is great that you're doing. So you're doing this paper.
And it's constant. So I'm doing that, as well as I have a client base, probably, I don't know, we updated it last time we checked. I'm probably at like 985 addresses or people. Mm-hmm. And I direct mail them once a month. They get a nice little card from me, thinking of selling, know anyone that wants to sell. I'll throw a review on. I'll send them what I just sold, what I just listed, kind of just like, oh, there she is again. I had one client call me, I don't know, I sold him his house like 25 years ago. He's like, Annette, I'm going to list with you. save the postage. Don't worry. Take me off the list. It's okay. I was like, nope, don't worry. You're still going to get it. Because you never know. That 1 month I don't send it. And so all of a sudden their next door neighbor's a realtor. Forget it. I'm not
That's
doing it.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
So how many pieces are you sending out? What?
I would say like, I think it's like 980 pieces I send out.
Okay.
About that, and I'm on it. I use a mailing service system, so my assistant just goes in, she makes the changes or whatever. She's like, what's the message you want to say this month? And I'm like, and then I think about it, and then I give her the words, and then she pulls it together, and then she sends me a proof, and I go, yep, that's it. And
do you use a database software, a CRM product?
Yeah, I use Top Producer, but that and I use that because there's something else that I do that I store. I don't use Top Producer for, do you want to buy a house, sell a house? I don't do that. I use the CRM totally as a database to store all of the clients that I've had over all the years. And every year, I have a stack every day of home anniversaries. I've been sending them for probably 20 years now. So every year they're in the house, they get an anniversary card from me on the date that they purchased, and I follow them on Facebook. I add their children's names. I add them into my CRM. How many kids do they have? If they had another baby, I send them a gift. It's like a web of people that it's like being a farmer, planting seeds, watching it grow, having a crop. If you don't feed your crop, it's going to die. So I feed my crop with mailings. I touch base with them. Everything's handwritten. I do a lot of that. My assistant drops off my stack of cards every 4 days. Every 4 days I do a big bunch, and I just sit over coffee in the morning and I personalize every single thing in there. I remember something I saw on Facebook, or I heard if they had a death in the family, I send my condolences, and I know you had a hard year, whatever.
So you really spend time focusing on your past clients and keeping that relationship and nurturing that relationship.
Yeah, and then all the stuff on the paper stuff is all new client base. That's all promotion. Like I get calls all the time. Oh my God, I saw your ad. I'm ready to sell my house. I see your signs all over, and I'm like, it's not a lot of listings now, so it must be the ads that are working.
Right, right.
So however they come to me is fine.
Well, what would you say to a new agent that's just building their business to get it started? Like you are blessed now with 40 some odd years, right, of these past clients. So somebody that doesn't have the gift of that, what would you say to them?
I would say to every person you touch or come in contact with, let them know you're a realtor. Mm-hmm. Try to get their address from them. Start sending them nice cards, or hey, so nice to meet you the other day. Here's a card. I'm in real estate. If you know anyone thinking of buying or selling, I'm just a phone call away. And real estate is such a great topic. Whenever I meet people, they know I'm a realtor because I make sure I tell them I'm a realtor. So and they would say, "Oh, how's the market? Oh my," and it never say it's bad. It's great because I'm great. So just say it's great. Market's never better. Even if you have no listings, even if you have no buyers, even if you have, act as if.
Right.
Just bring that light. That would be like the best advice I would give. A new agent starting out.
That's awesome.
Fake it till you make it.
This is a name from the past. One of my mentors, Tom Hopkins.
Oh yeah, Tom. Forget it. My father went to Tom Hopkins.
He was
he had all the books in his office. He's like, Annette, you need to read all these books. I think I'm not reading all those books. Oh, he's amazing.
He's the godfather of real estate training. He was. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, when people ask you, how's the market? You say, unbelievable, because I can go any way. I can beat anything. Unbelievable. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump to, we covered this, the mailings and the stuff, the buyers. So your buyers, where are they coming from for you?
Buyers are a lot of referrals. So, I have clients that I sold their first house to that now they're I'm selling their grandchildren. Like I stay once I'm in a family, I stay with the family. So I would say most of my buyers are referrals, or if I get a new listing, and in this day, listings are king.
Yeah.
So a lot of the buyers want to deal direct with the listing agent because they think if we're getting a double commission, they're going to get the deal over the 35 other people, which
Right.
yes, I mean, the
It
listing
does.
agent has all the power
Yeah.
with the seller.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
My sellers always want me to get the deal for sure.
Yeah.
But I won't circumvent. You can't circumvent a much better deal. Like I sold a lot of houses this year and the other broker got them and I didn't get them because they were just better transactions for my client. You always have to work for the client.
You just made me think of something to ask you. So where are you at, Annette, as far as, because it's so competitive, the market with multiple offers still and how are you with presenting the offer? So let's say that I'm a listing agent and you have an offer on my listing. How would you do that? I got like 10 other people. How would you fight for your buyer to try and get that offer accepted?
I'm pretty arrogant. So I just tell them that, listen, I'm a seasoned agent. They're like, oh, Annette, you're going to get the deal done. I'm like, I am. You're not going to have a headache. It's done. Here's qualified. You're dealing with experience. I'm going to get it to the table. Plus I can get my buyer up. I'm good at closing a buyer on what they really have to pay. But I'm not going to say arrogant. I'm going to say the word confident. I can't teach confidence. Confidence comes with time, and time stands for things I must earn and things I must experience. So time led me there.
Oh, I love that.
Have that.
I love. Wait a second. Where did you get that? I'm gonna steal that. I gotta. Come on now. That was. What the hell? I never heard that before, and I've been doing this for a while.
Oh, wealth of information. You didn't know what you signed up for today. Like, I have the time to play with you today.
Oh my God. I have to. Oh, I love that. Okay. Time. Things I must earn. Things I must, what'd you say? Experience? Was that the other one?
Things I must experience. Things I must earn.
Yes.
And I've had that mantra for many, many years, probably well over 20 years. So it takes time. And a lot of new agents don't have time because they need to make money. And I get it. But you're not going to get this level in a year. I mean, I've seen rock stars come out of the gate. There are a few, I say, wow, they're only in business 5 years. Look at the production they're doing. Like some have that ability to do that, because they figured it out or whatever. It took me a little longer. It took me 40 years. But I've always been a top producing agent. I have. I've always been at the top of my game.
When you go, let's see, I'm trying to think some of the things like dealing with rejection, like, how do you deal with rejection, you personally? I'm sure, listen, even at your level, I'm sure that happens to maybe not as often.
Yeah, I lost the listing today. I lost the listing today to, they kind of used me, I think, because they got me in, they got the price they needed. They just don't want to pay the commission. And then when I saw who they listed with a Nassau broker, definitely was a friend of theirs, probably, and then I saw the split for the poor agent who's going to sell their house. It's like a 1.5, like who does that? Like really? Right. So I think that was like a commission-based one. Normally when I don't get the listing, I will call back the seller and I will say, hey, congratulations. I saw that you selected another broker to list your property. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to sit with you, your beautiful home and everything. I just have one quick question for you. Was there anything that I did that I could do better next time? Because I like to learn from every experience I have. And sometimes they'll tell me, you talk too fast, you're aggressive, or your commission was too high, or or you didn't follow up enough. You didn't call, the other agent kept calling me, or like, cause I'll go into listing prime. I'm like, yeah, I got this one. And then all of a sudden pull my seat on MLS and I'm like, whoo, I didn't get that one. And you have to check your temperature. Like, I'm never afraid to learn why I was rejected, because I want to be better next time. So if I learn from that mistake, maybe I won't make it again.
Right.
So it's just it's a temperature check for myself, and that's good for me.
That's great. I've had agents ask me that a lot, and you just gave an answer different than what I've said, but I like what you said. I would tell them, if you're calling them to ask what could you have done differently, there's a good chance they're not going to be honest with you. But the way you asked the question,
I usually get the answer.
there was something very disarming the way you asked it. Like, as you started to do it, I was like, if I were a seller, would I really tell her? And I believe I would, because of the way you asked it.
You have to come from, if there's anything else, I come from a place of love. I never come from a place of entitlement. When you come from love and you come from being somebody's soft place to fall, people will open up, and that's trust. If you have trust, you're going to get the listing. If you have trust, you're going to get the buyer. If they trust you, if they look in your eyes and see, and all they see is how much money you're going to make, because I know a lot of realtors, I wouldn't buy a house from them because they're hungry for the money, and I'm like, oh, this is the biggest investment of my life. I'm going to go with somebody who's only looking at how much they're going to make on this transaction. I don't even know how much I'm going to make. I treat $100,000 co-op the same as I do a $1.6 million house. Everybody's in the same playing field with me. It's what can I do to serve you? My reward at the end of the day is my paycheck. That's it. Don't.
And there are some, listen, there's some agents. I mean, we know them. They're top agent, and they're very money driven and success and the bling and the blah blah blah. I mean, but that's not who you are. You're there's an authenticity about you, and people respond to that. They pick up on it.
But it's something that comes from inside.
Yes.
It's not something that you can fake, and people see fake. They see right through it. And if they don't trust you, they're not gonna, and I get that from I get a lot of clients who work with other brokers, and then they work with me and they're like, oh my God, Annette. And I'm like, I don't ever talk bad about another broker either. Don't do that. That's bad karma. But, I just do better. It's all about doing better. It really is.
That's great.
This whole conversation's about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is so awesome. You said something I'm going to ask you about. You just touched real quick about commission. Like your commission was too much, so they list with design. How do you address the commission? Now, I know people. A lot of the people that you're in front of, you have a celebrity status, so that helps you.
Yes.
Your credentials help you for sure.
Yes, they do.
But what would you say, even for another agent that doesn't have your creds? How would you address that commission aspect?
Well, I tell everyone, and this market's hard because people can put their house up for sale by owner, and they think they don't even need us because there's still going to be a line outside of their house. So what sets me apart from that? I'm a great facilitator. Like you're getting like, I know how to drive the market. I know how to play one offer against each other without harming the brokers and keeping everybody one big happy family, but deriving you the highest price. And for that is you have to pay a premium. It's like going to Lord and Taylor or Macy's as opposed to, Walmart. It's you get what you pay for. Yep. So I always go in at the high commission. I say, listen, I'm a 6% broker all day long, worth every penny. I said, for today, I can do a 5% for you. And usually they go, their shoulders go, they kind of like, and then, in a very competitive listing, that's something that I really want. I'll say, if I sell it myself, I can reduce below the 5%. And I'll put that in writing. And I'll say, if Annette Mina sells the house, the commission will be bleh. And 9 times out of 10, it's another broker that's selling it anyway, and I'm still getting my 3% on the 5. So,
right.
it's just giving them a little gift and letting the shoulders go down. And some try to negotiate with me, and I will negotiate back and forth. If it's a, good listing, it's not going to be torturous or whatever. But you have to bet every one is different. Every scenario is different. You have your sellers who are pigs and they just don't want to pay, and then they're going to drag you through the mud, and they're going to cut your fee, and then you feel like you didn't even work for all that. You work too much for no money. That happens too. But I usually overcome it by giving them back a gift of some sort, telling them I'm this, but I'll do this.
I love that. That's a great strategy. I'm worth say all day I can get, but
no,
today
I say I am a 6% broker.
That's great. That is great.
Let them digest. However, for today, I really want this listing. I think you're great people. I can do your service. I'm going to get you top dollar, whatever. I can do. I'll go to 5.
That's awesome. Now, there's something else I have to address, because I know the students that wait. So here's a question some people just had when they heard you say that you on a 5.
Yeah, I'm live with these people right now.
No. I just
getting questions.
No. Listen, I've been doing this for a long time. I know the questions before they're gonna happen, for crying out loud. And I'm telling you, this one of the questions, if this was live, because they're gonna watch it, and while people are watching, they say, wait, did she say that she does 5 and she pays out 2? She doesn't pay 50%. She keeps 3 and she pays out 2. So I know some people just got twisted on that. So I want to address.
Twist away. I got 5. You get 2. That's it.
Now, I'm going to tell, I agree with you, and I'll tell you why but I want to hear, why did you make that? Is that how it's always been for you, or is it just now or sometime?
I would say I've been doing that 15 years, 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah. In a market, the markets change. So you have to move with your market. In a market where it's competitive, where listings are gold, I can do that because you're going to still sell the house. In a market where it's different and I need you to come and I need you to push my house, I'm going to split half with you. So you have to change with your market. You can't be steadfast on every single transaction. You have to, where is my market? My market is right now, I get a listing, it's gold. Right now, I get a listing and it's in contract in 3 days. So it shows on my website, I have no listings, but I've got 19 deals in contract. Hello, right. It's because they went in 3 days. So, and no, I don't split.
I want people to just understand what you said, because I'm 100% in agreement with you that people, some agents have this weird entitlement thing that you're supposed to do 50-50. No, if it's harder to get listings, especially now in this market, the listing agent should get paid more. Number 2 is the selling broker's commission is a marketing tool for the listing agent, which is what you also said. If you've got a listing that's going to bada bing, it's going to sell quick. All right, I'm going to pay out 2. Now, if you got something that's going to sit, you need a little bit more help. You want to pay out a little bit more advertising dollars by doing 50-50, then that's when you do it that way. So the selling broker's commission is a marketing tool for the listing agent. They decide what's best for the homeowner and what they should pay out. Yeah. Beautiful. All right. I needed to, I know the students got what I could do on that. So we got it covered. All right. Now let's see what else. Oh my gosh, it's time for us to go. No. Okay.
Really?
That
has not been an hour.
It's been an hour.
How the hell did that happen? We didn't even get through many of these questions. What the hell did we talk about, Daryl?
Well, listen, is there something we didn't get to that before we wrap this up that you think is important to share that's on the list there? Because you did so much of the research.
No, I just answered the questions over course.
Well, I meant that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I think what are the 2 important tips that I would leave with everybody?
Yes. Okay.
I would listen to and watch experienced agents. I wouldn't beat yourself up if you fail.
Mhm.
Just used my next thing.
Love that. Love that.
There are 1,000 opportunities out there. If you get one good client and you plant your seed in your farm, get that one client to refer you to one other person. And then that person will refer you to 2 people. And then that person will refer you to 3 more. And start to build your farm, because that's what you need to do. You need to build your farm of people. And that will give you your client base that you're looking for. And I would say one of the best things I ever did was I read a book called The 4 Agreements. And I don't know if you're aware of the 4 Agreements.
I haven't read it, but I know the book. Yes.
Yeah. And so be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best.
Wow. Say those 4 again. That was so beautiful. That was so
Theory on me yet, Daryl?
I love that.
Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best.
Man, those are the 4 in the book.
It's called The 4 Agreements. Everyone should read it. I read it. I then put it on Audible, because you read and some things don't stick.
Right.
And I'll listen to it every now and again. I'll throw it on Audible, and it just gets me centered back. It just makes it all, brings me back to a place of love. It brings me back to everything's going to be okay, and gets all the fakaka out of your head.
Yes. Yes.
Because I think that's a big problem with a lot of agents who are striving to try to make money in this business. It's hard. And right now the market is hard. It's hard. It's a very hard market now. I've never seen a market like this in my 40 years. Ever.
But yet you've had it as last year during the pandemic was your best year.
Yes, it was my best year.
And what would you attribute that to, whether it's a strategy or an attitude? Or
I think during COVID, I had nothing else to do but go down my client list, and I called everybody. How you doing? How you feeling? What's going on? You safe? You sick? How are the children? And I just kept fueling and talking and texting and talking and texting. And then the big exodus out of New York City, and then the people selling houses, and we couldn't sell them fast enough. And so I think everybody made a ton of money last year. I mean, people that didn't normally make money, but this year was completely different. This year, there was no inventory, where last year there was still a lot of houses that were on market. So we could sell them, and people were just, I was selling 3-bedroom ranches for $475 that all day long aren't worth more than $360. But people were coming from the city, and they were paying these and waiving their appraisals, and they didn't care. They're coming out of pocket, borrowing from grandma to offset the appraisal. But this year, all of it got dried up. When you don't have product, you're out of business. You need product to sell. So if there's no inventory, that's where I think a lot of the struggles are coming from a lot of the agents. Agents are calling me all the time. Annette, you got any listing? I'm like, I'm out. I'm empty. Because I just list one, it sells, it's in contract in 72 hours, because you have to get it in and get it out. And it just goes so fast that there's no, back in the day, I would always have a minimum of 10 to 15 in inventory, on my website. Houses selling, they take 2-3 months, 6 months to sell. Today, no, I've never seen anything like that.
And that's regardless of what the business is, whether it's real estate, cars, shoes, clothes, you need inventory. And if the shelves are empty, it makes
You're out of business.
You're out of business. What do you think is going to happen in 2022?
Oh, I wish I could forecast that, because I've been in every kind of market. I don't think the interest rates are going to raise high enough to make a difference. Maybe they're going to go to 4, big deal. That's still great. I was selling houses where the interest rates were 13% at one year.
Yep.
So I don't think that's going to be it. I'm not sure, Daryl, because the first-time home buyers, my bread and butter is first-time home buyer. I sell, and then when they bust out of that house, they call me to get to the big house. So that's my bread and butter, right?
Okay. Yeah.
There's no big houses because no one's selling. So the little houses are renovating. That's why the price of lumber's through the roof. Everyone's staying in their homes. They're adding extensions on, or they're getting crazy prices of 200,000. So they're staying in their smaller houses. They can't put their house up for sale because this house, they're going to be up against 20 people and they have a house to sell, and someone that just has nothing to sell is going to get the house. So why put their house up for sale?
Right.
See?
Yep.
So there's a lot of that going on, and that's my bread and butter. So if I don't have inventory to take them in, then I lost all that business.
Do you
So
think
definitely a down this year? I'm down. I still had a good year, but nothing like last year. Nothing like last year was ridiculous.
Do you think the craziness in pricing and do you think something's going to happen, that there's going to be a challenge to our industry because of
I
the?
do. I almost feel like, is Long Island going to be the new California? Like, is it going to be so expensive? I have parents calling me, Annette, I can't believe my kids have to move out of state to get a decent house. My children are leaving. Why are the price? Like, they asked me, why the price is so high? I said, I didn't make the price. I listed it at $469. Some jerk from New York City just paid $5. I just had a house in Islip Terrace. It's the highest sale in Islip Terrace. I listed it for $650. It sold for $740 in Islip Terrace. Like, what?
That's crazy.
And it appraised. And the guy was coming out of pocket with $100,000. And I'm still like, my mouth is hanging wide open. Who does that? Like, why is this? And that house had, I think, 14 offers on it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. 3 doctors fighting over it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Just an insane market. So I don't have a forecast for next year. It's either going to stay like this. So I have one child that didn't listen to me, bought a house in this market, told her not to do it. She didn't listen to me. I said, you're paying too much. She said, you kidding me? I've been at this 2 years, Ma. Nothing's going to happen. I'm buying this house. And then the other one's like, Mom, I'm not ready. I shouldn't buy yet. Right. I'm like, no, don't buy now. So he's holding tight. So I don't know. I don't.
Do you think there'll be do you think there could be a correction?
Listen, there's always been a correction over 40 years. I've always seen the highs and the lows and the highs and the lows. I just have never seen this.
This is crazy.
I've never seen this. Is like is a whole new monster.
Yep.
So I feel like the new agents. I have no idea what's coming. December was weird. It was just been a very weird month. And now the phone's ringing for lists. So what is my January going to be? Like crazy all of a sudden? People are thinking. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't have my finger on the pulse when it comes to next year.
Time will tell. And that, by the way, that was my favorite thing. The time things I experience, and you know what, that's such a good goal on this whole conversation, because time has done you well on a lot of levels, and what you've experienced and how you've grown. And I love that farming analogy. I was envisioning a garden. How in some movies you see like the woman's in her greenhouse and she's gardening and she's tending to every little soil and the plant and the flowers and that's you, Annette. I see you as that person with her clients. Like, you nurture them, you take care of them, you address them like any gardener who loves their greenhouse.
And they call me for every little fingernail. It's so weird. It's like, and then I have this problem with, I need a plumber. It's like I'm on auto dial for all these people, like, because they're like, Annette has the answer. So I constantly giving them the answers. And I mean, it's a lot, but at least I'm staying in touch, and they can count on me. And that if I don't know the answer to the question, I get the answer to the question for them, or I steer them in the right direction. It's all part of serving.
Yes.
You have to serve. If you don't serve, then
that's one of you can't see it on the blackboard. It's cut off over here, but that's one of the things that we added last year, that power agents don't sell people, they serve people.
You serve.
And they don't close people, they coach people. They empower people to make good decisions. And
correct.
You certainly epitomize what a power agent is. You really do. Is there anything else you'd like to say to people that are watching this to help their business?
No, I'm just so happy to pay it forward and, share a little bit of, how I went through it all. don't give up,
Mhm.
don't give up if you really love what you do. Because in my office, it says, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That's
There you go.
my whole, and I do love what I do,
Yep.
and I'm going to continue to love what I do. And I don't think it's ever going to go away. It's just now I have balance now I'm, that's all good too, but it doesn't take away or negate when the phone rings, I'm going to go,
Mm,
you
mm.
know? So you have to, if you love it, and getting those first few commission checks, it's not even so much the first one. It's when you start to see the roll happen, that's
Yeah.
when they get the taste of it and then want to keep it going, 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 going. I think that happened for me. Like, I was like, all right, one sale was all right, couldn't wait for the second one, but then all of a sudden they were popping like flies. You get 3, 4, 5, 6 going at a time. And that's the way
The
that,
momentum, like then that's when you start to get hooked on what
yeah.
your business that you're
It's
doing.
like an adrenaline rush too. I always I actually got high every time I cut a deal. Like, everyone said, what do you do? I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I do real estate.
Yeah, my drug is a contract or closing.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Sign on the dotted line. I mean, it's so good now. I don't think I've had a client read a contract. It's got to be 15 years. They
Wow.
don't even look at it. They're like, they just the pen. And I just flip the papers. I'm like, sign, there, go, good, done, let's go. They call me sunglass and keys.
Sunglass and keys?
Yeah, like I wear my sunglasses, I bring my keys, and I don't do a presentation. Like, I don't have the whole PowerPoint thing. No, I just walk in and it's all here. It's between my ears. What's for sale? What's sold? What's your house worth? Look them in the eyes, get them to sell. That's it.
I'll tell you that's why I didn't even ask you, like, you tell about your listing appointment or that stuff, because I know you're at that level where, again, you have so much credibility, celebrity status. A lot of people are calling you to come in, and the ones probably that aren't, if somehow you got that, they know of your name, your credibility.
Mhm.
And that's powerful what you said too. My broker, Mac Levitt, my mentor when I was an agent, he was like you in that regard. If he was a walking CMA, he didn't do CMAs, he didn't do comps and stuff, because he had it if he needed to visually back it up. But man,
yeah, I bring it with me, but I don't open it.
Yeah,
I don't even open it. Like, my poor assistant, she makes this beautiful book and all this stuff. She runs the office, and I hope she doesn't see this, because they don't really look at it. I don't even have to go, here, look at that. It's like, no, this house, this one, nope, that's sold. Oh yeah, the guy around the corner. You just have to know, your market before you walk in. Just
That's
knowing your
powerful.
market before you walk in. They do it on $1 Million Listing all the time. Do you ever see them with papers? Never see them with papers. They just walk in and talk.
Yeah. See, well, that's just it. The confidence is important too, because if that FSBO or that homeowner thinks that they know this much more than you do, then they ain't giving you the listing.
No.
So you got to be solid with your conversation. You got to be solid with your data, your stats. Know your market. Yeah. And you know it because you're out there day in and day out showing those. But you're either listing them or showing them, and so you know what's happening. So you keep your finger on the heartbeat of what's happening. Well, listen, this was incredible. I want to say to everybody watching, I hope this was valuable for you. This was so special for me. Really, it was incredible to see you again and spend this time with you. And thanks for making a difference by being with me and everybody watching. So really, because
if anyone has questions, no problem.
One more time, your email address for everybody and your cell phone.
Annette.mina@element.com, and my cell is 631-831-0163.
All right, awesome. Stay right there. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody. There you go, gang. So again, I hope this was valuable. I know it must have been. It was for me. So stay safe, stay focused, and don't forget to keep smiling.